Good morning. Namaste. So we're going to start in a seated position today. And if you're not comfortable sitting on the ground, you can either elevate your hips on something, or even if there's a chair or a bed or a couch nearby, you can do that as well. So essentially you want to sit in a position that feels comfortable for you, as comfortable as possible, where you can get your spine straight. So elevating the hips gives us a little bit more space to get the legs open without putting too much strain on the low back and the hips. So hopefully you've brought some pillows and cushions, maybe blankets even, and you can use those to prop your body throughout our class today. So let's allow our bodies to land here on this beautiful Sunday morning. So lovely to spend time together, even though we're in different spaces. We are connected energetically. And it's good for souls to get together to explore deeper and deeper experiences of themselves, of the moment. And we need each other. We need each other for encouragement, for support, for energetic holding. So thank you for being here, whether you're listening now or later. And even if you listen later, you can still feel the container and be supported by it and benefit from it. So letting your body land here, wherever you are, making any last adjustments to allow the body to really settle here quietly. Just see if you need to lean back a little bit. Most of us tend to lean slightly forward, just as a habit. So you want the shoulders to be directly over the hips. So sense for that within your body awareness. And then if you lift the chin a little bit, you can feel the ears lining up over the shoulders, sometimes even tucking the chin back a little bit. And you'll feel that sweet spot when the crown of the head, it's almost like it feels like it's plugging into the sky. There might be even a sense of opening in the top of the head. And then as you exhale, allow the tailbone to plug into the earth. So we are physical and spiritual beings, and the tailbone of the body, as well as the feet and legs, are our connection to the Earth Mother. And the crown of the head is our direct connection to Father Sky, Great Spirit, whatever you want to call it. And then they come together and they blend to form our human expression as a physical body, as a mind. I'm going to start with a chant from the yoga tradition. And one of the things that I really appreciate about the yoga tradition is that the teaching has always been that the true teacher lives within each one of us. And the person who is playing the role of a teacher is simply a guide, pointing us towards that ever-present source of of wisdom, of authentic knowing. So the chant that I'm going to start us with this morning is simply an acknowledgement of this true teacher within that is the source of beingness, consciousness, and peace and joy in the midst of any moment that is guiding us throughout our moments in our lives. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niranambaya Tejase. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niranambaya Tejase. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niranambaya Tejase. Welcoming our whole beings here on our cushions, on our mats. Beginning with the physical body as we feel it resting up against the earth. Feeling the touch of our body against the solidity of the ground. Feeling the weight of our body, the pressure on our skin and the various spots that are touching the earth. Feeling the breath within the stillness. And opening to our whole experience with curiosity, with humility, with a willingness to just let it be as it is, to completely let go of control. So my breath is moving the way that it's moving. I am aware of it. And for now, I'm just letting it dance in its own time, in its own way. Nothing needs to change. And as I watch the breath, I experience for myself that it's actually shifting all on its own. Life is constantly shifting towards greater balance, greater harmony. Even sometimes when things seem to go out of balance, it's in order to come back into a greater balance. And this is where humility comes in. Because we don't know, but our body knows and life knows. So I let my breath just be for now. And I begin to notice more and more sensations in my body that perhaps I haven't been aware of until now. And I open to those. So in the soul's way of healing the body, one of the primary guidance pieces is to include everything. because everything is part of the wisdom of this moment. So I include the parts of my body that are feeling relaxed and pleasant and happy, as well as those that are maybe a little tense or maybe feeling somewhat uncomfortable. And so I orient towards including, opening to. And of course, I will also notice that my mind may not be still, even though my body is at this time. And I can include that without focusing on it. So I don't spend any energy pushing the thoughts away. I just allow them to move through, like clouds moving through a blue sky. So to include doesn't mean to focus on or to entertain. It just means to not use any energy to exclude. And oftentimes in meditation, many of us have a tendency to want to exclude the mind, which then is just using up a lot of our attention. So just leave the mind alone. Come back to the body again and again as an alternate source of attention. We're also going to include any emotions that show up either now or throughout the class. So they too are welcome here and are all part of this great unfolding and this healing that is happening moment to moment. So opening to the areas in your body where you hold stress or tension, or where you feel emotions. Oftentimes it's the heart and the throat and the belly, and letting them know that they too are welcome here. They are being included in our practice this morning. They are being seen as sacred pieces to this ever unfolding puzzle of healing. Perhaps you notice that when the system begins to let go of opposing any detail, there's a natural sinking into a more spacious, peaceful version of ourselves. Beautiful. So I invite you to shift onto the ground. You might want to put a little folded blanket underneath your head or underneath your hips. So patting anything that might feel like it would appreciate that. And let's start with a pillow underneath our knees, or two, whatever you need to kind of get the knees elevated to such an extent that it feels comfortable for you. And just let your body adjust to being on its back. For many of us, there's a settling of the weight and maybe even a little bit of discomfort in the spine as it settles into a harder surface than it's probably used to. Great, so let's pull the left knee in towards our belly. And just draw it in gently. Feel the breath rising in the belly and possibly even touching the top of the thigh. The thigh may float up a little bit with your breath. Great, and let's switch legs. Bringing the right knee in towards the belly. Gently holding the shin. Feeling that dance between the belly and the thigh. Great, and then just bring your feet flat, maybe move your pillows out of the way for a moment. And let your feet be about hip width apart. And as you exhale, let the pelvis tilt. So the pubic bone is going to lift a little bit. The spine is going to flatten against the ground. And then as you inhale, you're going to let the pelvis come back to neutral. So the pelvis is rocking back and forth very gently with the rhythm of the breath. That's it. Great, and then just remain in neutral. Take the left ankle to the right knee. And for some of us, this may be enough of a hip stretch. We're going to be holding this for a few minutes. For others, we might want to elevate the right foot onto our pillow or onto a block if we have one to get a little bit more of an experience here. And others may be able to lift the right foot off the ground, hook the hands through the legs and on either side of the right thigh, and then let the lower right leg just drop. Your left foot is flexed, but not with too much tension, but just kind of held in a soft flex position. And we're going to start circling that right knee around. And we're going to feel this in the hip, of course. So we're exploring our range of motion here. We're aware of what we are experiencing in our body. So notice, this is not a movement that requires a lot of thinking. So bring your awareness into the hip and the low back and the thigh, wherever you're feeling this, and open to the sensations that you feel there. Let your body know that you are present and conscious and available. And let's switch that in the other direction. So circling in the other direction now. And then we are going to hold this posture here. So just allowing the back body to settle into the earth. Allowing the skin on the front of the body to settle back down towards the earth. Allowing the organs to spill into the abdominal cavity. And so here, when we're in this posture and all postures, our experience of the moment will be different in that we are having a more focused set of sensations around our hip. And so we can open to that and include that. So all of the tension in our body is partially related to how we use our bodies, but also much of the tension is where we are holding emotions. And as we spoke about in our sessions together, the holding of emotions and the boundaries that we form around that, and the way that the nervous system is protecting these areas is a really big, it is the primary root cause of all disease. And so when we hold our body in this way, we are accessing any tension that's perhaps ready to be seen and acknowledged and liberated here in the pelvic area, which is an area of quite a bit of energetic holding. It relates to the energies from our tribe and from our primary relationships are all held in the first two chakras. So we're not just stretching the body here, we are opening up the energy body and we're liberating our life force. Let's release that and just bring your hands to both knees and circle both knees around in one direction and the other. Great. And then we're going to switch legs. So the right ankle is coming over the left knee, just at the top of the thigh, or at least the top from what we're looking at here, right next to the knee. And we may find that the position that we hold on this side may be different than the other side, depending on the flexibility here. And let's begin as well with circles on this side, starting very gently. We want to be really mindful of being in relationship to the body, not imposing movements, but being in a cooperative relationship with the body. And let's go the other way, this knee. So we listen to the body and it informs us when it's ready to maybe make bigger circles. We feel how it feels. And if we can relax in the midst of this movement, then we can perhaps explore broader territories. If it feels like we're tense or that it's causing us to hold the breath, then we're pushing too far. And then we're going to come to stillness here. Let's notice how the breath fills this particular shape. So as the breath expands, you may feel slight changes in your sensory experience. So the breath is going to travel through the connective tissue all the way to the hip, to the buttocks. And you'll feel a slight change in sensations as the breath rises and falls. Each exhale is an invitation to soften a little bit more into the earth. Each inhale is an invitation to relax and open. Take 3 more deep breaths here. And then release the feet. Place them on either side of your mat and just rock your knees side to side. When your knees drop to the left the next time, just pause there. Let them drop into gravity. If you want, you can bounce the right knee a little bit. And then just pause. Feel the weight of the legs, particularly the right leg. Gently pulling on the front of the thigh, maybe the hip flexors, maybe even the waist for some of us. And now taking the legs to the other side. And again, bouncing the left knee this time a little bit, only if that feels comfortable. Otherwise, move right into the stillness position. And let's just pause here, feeling the weight of the legs, letting the left hip in particular open, breathing fully and deeply into this shape, letting the breath reach the tissues, comfort them, letting them know of your willingness to be present. Bringing the legs rather back to center, and just rolling the head now side to side. And we're going to come onto our hands and our knees. So here you would be best to pad your knees with a blanket. We bring our hands underneath our shoulders. Our knees, if we look back, are directly beneath our hips, and our feet are going straight back from our knees. And pressing into the earth so you feel a sense of stability in the shoulders. Lengthening the tops of the shoulders away from your ears. Lengthening the crown of the head towards the wall in front of you and the tailbone towards the wall behind you. Now begin to tilt your sits bones up towards the sky and drop your belly towards the earth. So your back is moving into a slight arch here, and then finally tilt the crown towards the sky. Allow the shoulder blades to slide down the back, and exhaling into cat curl, chin to chest, pubic bone reaching towards the low ribs, shoulder blades falling away from each other. And inhale, we lengthen into cow pose, letting the belly hang like an udder. And back and forth in your own time. Take your time. Feel the sequence of sensations that unfold as we move back and forth. When you slow down, you can sense if there's a possibility of going a little bit further on this cat curl and lengthening a little bit more on this cow pose. Lifting the sits bones a little bit more, perhaps. Great. And so now we're going to come onto our bellies. You could have a pillow nearby. Taking the tops of the feet to the ground. Your feet are about hip width apart. And see if you can get all 10 toes on the ground. So the heels will be dropping slightly outwards rather than inwards. So this gives our low back a little more space. And we're going to come into a Sphinx position. So essentially, the posture looks like this. Now, there's different possibilities. If this feels too intense for your low back, you can move the arms forward a little bit, and that'll kind of decrease the angle. Another thing that's really nice is to stick a pillow underneath your ribs to give you some support so the body can relax a little bit more. And it's a little less work for the arms as well. And we're just going to gaze maybe a foot in front of us or even close our eyes. And we'll be here for a minute or so, but if you feel like it's too much, then just come onto your belly sooner. So notice what the breath feels like moving through this particular shape. You feel it more intensely in certain parts of your body. And you let the breath brush against the liver here, the pancreas. Maybe you'll feel it a little more in the heart or the throat. So the breath is gently awakening these slumbering energies. Good. Now let's slide back up into a table position. And we're going to now let the spine unwind. So rather than going back and forth in a cat pose, just allow your spine to move in any direction that it wants to. You could curl your toes under and even just let the movement slide back a little bit, which gives you a nice stretch in the feet. So you can shift side to side, you can spiral. This is a good time too to stretch out your face. I always find that I become aware of tension in my face when I'm doing this particular movement. You can open your mouth and scrunch your face tight and squeeze your eyes and open them wide. Great, and let's just slide back into a brief child's pose here, again with toes curled under to get that opening in the soles of the feet. And then we're going to come onto our tummies once again. We're going to move to the left side of our mat. And we're going to bring our right knee up. So the right knee is coming up beside you at a 90-degree angle. The hip is at a 90-degree angle as well. And now we're going to just let our belly settle into the ground. And we're going to move our hands to the right. So what's happening is we're creating a C shape in the spine. And we're going to feel an opening on the left side of the spine, as well as in the groin on the right side. And then if you want, you can pull a pillow underneath your head. And we're going to rest here for a bit. So one of the key practices in healing the body the soul's way is befriending the body, learning to listen to it through its language, which is primarily sensation. And so each time we come into a new posture, the mind might get active at first, especially if we've never done this before. But we remind ourselves to come back to the breath to start, to feel how the breath is feeling in this shape. And then just to begin to open to the orchestra of sensations that are unfolding in your body right now. And we're simply listening. Nothing needs to be done. And we notice that it feels good to be home in the body. It feels good to be inhabiting the body. The body certainly enjoys it. And if the thinking mind pulls you away, it's just a very gentle returning to breath, to sensation, to feeling. So we're redeveloping a friendly relationship with our body so that we are more open to its communications, to its guidance around our healing. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And then we're going to straighten out and press up into Cobra once again. You may find that the back feels a little bit looser this time. So in our relationship with our body, we're moving from confrontation to cooperation. So often there are subtle messages of disapproval, of unhappiness, when the body isn't functioning the way that we would like it to. And while that's fine, it's important to also go deeper. Perhaps beneath that disapproval, that unhappiness is fear. Sadness. And so the physical sensations will always lead us into the finer sensations related to emotions. And this is really the wellspring of healing that is waiting for us in the emotional body. So gradually let your system open to the finer sensations of emotion, where we hold our stress. You might even feel it as resistance. So there may not be an actual emotion that you can name, but there may be a feeling of resistance in the body. Let's come down here and press up into that table once again. And unwind the spine. And the face, possibly. Letting the movement rise and fall, slide forward and back. Actually, let's all curl our toes under and slide our buttocks back into the heels. And then just shift the hips side to side. So the arms are reaching forward. They're quite active here. The palms are pressing firmly into the ground. And we're rocking side to side. Feels good on the lower back and in the soles of the feet. Great, and let's take it up now into that table one more time and let it unwind in this kind of playful and exploratory way. And then coming on to the right side of your mat now and bringing the left knee up. I'll turn around. And then letting the belly come in contact with the ground. And then slowly moving the hands over to the left. And bring your pillow in if you'd like, or you can just rest your head on your hands and just feel that lengthening in the right side of the body, the armpit. Letting the breath expand fully into the ribs, the waist, and the shoulder girdle. So I invite you to think about the symptom that perhaps drew you to this series, or maybe even a symptom that has come to the foreground as a result of this series. So think about that, or maybe it's a symptom that's activated right now in your life. And as you think about that symptom, notice how your body responds. Are there feelings that arise? Sensations? Areas of contraction? And simply include that in your moment here. Reach towards it with your breath, with the light of your awareness. Great. And coming back to center, we'll press up and we'll turn over onto our backs. Move to the left side of your mat, bending your knees, pausing here for a moment. Extend your right leg. Lift your left foot off the ground and take your leg across your body, perhaps to a pillow or a block or something to elevate the leg over here. So we're in a twist here. You can bring your right hand to the outside of that left leg just to anchor it down. You want your left shoulder to fall towards the left. You could also prop it from behind for a little bit more comfort if you feel like your shoulder is hanging a little bit high. And try to find a spot for your left hand to rest on the ground. So you might need to bend your elbow to do that, but don't let it kind of dangle out here. So in restorative, we always want to give the body as much support from below so that it has something to relax into, so it feels safe in that way. And then the head is going to turn to the left. So you're taking the rotation all the way up the spine and through the neck. I'm going to keep my head to the right so that I can speak towards the mic. So let's do some box breath here. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. And breathe naturally. So in our last session, we spoke about this field of well-being, this endless field of well-being that is available to us when we unhook from engaging with the mind, with the emotions, with the body, with life, the external life. When we just allow everything to be as it is, there's a natural dropping into a spacious sense of presence and safety and goodness. Within which our whole life can exist exactly as it is. Except from this perspective, we are relaxed and open, as opposed to trying to find solutions, trying to manipulate. And all of these tensions in our body represent those areas that have been struggling with things as they are. because somewhere along the line, we learned that there was something wrong with how we were feeling. But those feelings are actually a sign that healing is wanting to happen, is wanting to move through. The emotions themselves are the river of healing. And so it's about allowing them the freedom to move, to express, which will then bring a greater amount of life force into the whole body and deepen the process of healing. Let's just come back to our backs here. Hug the knees in for a moment and maybe circle the legs around. And then move your body to the right of your mat. Lengthen out your left leg. Take the right leg up and over. And coming into your twist on this side. As the body begins to unwind in the nurturing field of our presence, it also allows through more of those intuitive rays, it allows us to be more open to the intuition that is always here to guide us to choices that are most authentic, most nurturing, most evolutionary. So essentially, we are relaxing into our healing. We're letting go of all those knots from fixed beliefs that don't serve us any longer, from emotional protection that is not necessary any longer, from physical contraction that is ready to soften into greater ease. And coming back to center, hugging the knees in, circling them around. One way and the other. And then just spreading your body out in Shavasana. Arms can be slightly away from your body, palms up to the sky. Feet are at least hip width apart. If you'd like, you can once again prop underneath your knees. Just allowing your body to completely let go. Bringing your awareness to the heart center, to the flower that we explored in the last session. Seeing it there, this beautiful, tender yet powerful blossom. Allowing ourselves to enjoy the fragrance of the flower of our heart. And letting that fragrance infuse through your whole body. Filling every space, every nook, every cranny with its sweetness, with its healing, with its love. And maybe particularly any areas of your body that are needing healing. And as that fragrance spreads, and as we enjoy it, the flower is encouraged to open and blossom even more, revealing a jewel that lives there. It is radiating its light in all directions, and also penetrating into all of the tissues of our bodies, right into the very core of the cells, into the marrow of the bones, to the edges of the skin and beyond, to the soft tissue, to the joints, to the senses. That light is filling us with wisdom, with clarity, with inspiration. Inhaling, I take in the fragrance of the flower of my heart. Exhaling, the light in the jewel that lives in the center of the flower radiates through my whole being and beyond. Heart like the sun is always shining, ever present, everywhere. You can try, but you won't stop it rising. So let your love fill the air. Come on, da 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 da. Come on, da 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 da. Heart like the sun, always shining, ever present, everywhere. You can try, but you won't stop it rising. So let your love fill the air. Come on, da 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 da. Come on, da 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 da. Heart like the sun, da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Heart like the sun, always shining, ever present, everywhere. You can try, but you won't stop it rising. So let your love fill the air. Come on, da 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 da. Come on, da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Circling your ankles and your wrists. Rolling your head side to side. Hugging your knees into your belly. And then rolling over onto one side and pausing there in fetal position. Whenever you're ready, press yourself up and come to a seated meditation position. Bringing the hands to heart center. My body is precious. My body is my friend and ally. My body wants to heal. My body wants to serve me and all of creation. My soul is my body's partner. My soul is my body's beloved. Let's seal our practice today with the sound of Om, starting with a cleansing breath. Inhale. Let it fall out. Inhale. Om. Namaste.